Welcome back, Syndicate members. It is I, Joshua Mammoth, back with another independent comic book review. And we actually haven't done one in the past couple of weeks. How do you feel about that?
It's been a little weird. But I like what we've been doing, so it's been fun.
So this one, it was a recent pickup. So this isn't one that's fallen into the back of the box. This one is from Bent Box.
Yeah, we just picked this up, 2 weeks ago now?
Mm-hmm. That's right, at Charlie's Epic Con.
That was a lot of fun.
It is, and they actually have a anime con, I believe, coming up in May, so definitely check that out.
Yeah.
But this one, so we when we first got there, first we saw the statue Superman guy.
He scared me.
Trevor, go ahead and put that back. Yeah, but so yeah, we saw this guy, and this was at like the very beginning, right before we walked in. Then we bumped into I want to say Jose Fuentes of Silverline, and then once we got into the main area, that's when we ran into Chris of Bent Box Comics, and he gave his rundown of their publishing company. And so actually I found this to be extremely interesting because for a few reasons. First off, because he writes some of the stuff, and then his buddy draws some of the stuff, but then they also branch out to many other artists and writers from around the world and collaborate and produce other people's work. And I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we've never seen one worldwide, so I thought that was a really creative, different way to get just artists together. So
well,
that was cool.
For example, in Tonight in Wingless, the illustrator, I believe her name is Veronica. She's from Italy. She lived in Italy.
That is so cool. That'd be the dream.
Well, her work is freaking amazing.
So awesome. Yeah, I love it.
So we picked. Well, I think you picked this one.
I did. Yeah, it really drew me to it because it's, as you'll see, it's very kind of old school Disney. So I was very drawn to it as soon as we saw the cover.
Yeah, so I actually really like this one too. The cover was really good. And as far as like I really kind of wanted to read this and see what it had inside of it.
Yeah, because you really didn't know what was going on from the cover. You had these like kind of dark looking animals in the start, and then you had these three little scared birds, and you're like, what is going on with this? So it was definitely fun.
All right, let's get into it. So first off, I want to say that this story was pretty amazing.
It really was. It got me on a roller coaster, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it was so good.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So when you first dive into it, you literally just start in a park, and we realized later that it's Central Park. I'm assuming in New York.
That's what I take from it as well, because they call it Central.
Yeah, but you just see people playing, in a park, running, just doing the normal thing, and then it pans up to the tree where you get to see this cute little birdhouse, and it goes in, and someone's having a baby.
Now, I want to point out though that Trevor put up this birdhouse view here. These were not built by people.
No, they were definitely built by birds, but man, they were creative.
Yeah, I know. I love the birdhouses. I'm just pointing out these were not built by human beings. These were obviously built by birds that were quite intelligent.
I agree. I'm scared of these birds. But yeah, so we go and we pan down and we see that a little baby is about to get hatched from the egg. And you get to see him. He's so cute. The parents are so happy. But then they start realizing something.
Yes, little Astro is born without wings.
Yes, they're like, oh, this is odd. They're like, what do we do? But they realize they're not going to do anything different. They're going to love him as much as they can.
Well, what can you do, really? I realize he's a bird, but
I know, just because he's born a little different doesn't mean you got to love him any less.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I thought that was really cute. The mother, Marta, she says, no matter what challenges lie ahead, we'll get through this as a family. I thought that was so cute. I was like, aw. But yeah, so we go and we see the little bird and the family are all cute together, and then we get to see chapter 1 on the next page, and we get to see another really cool little shot of their birdhouse.
Yeah, and this is the shot I'm talking about. This was a cool shot here.
Loved it.
Now the dad though, he knows. Okay, I got to teach my son some stuff because he's gonna have it rough.
So a few months later, he's like, okay, you're a little bit older. Let's start doing something. You're obviously not able to fly. You're going to have to kind of hop around a little bit and jump to the different branches within the trees. And obviously, poor little Astro is very scared of this.
Well, his legs aren't quite developed yet, though.
So he, but he's like, you know what, Dad? You say it. I trust you. I'm going to jump. And he almost makes it.
Well, his dad saved him like you said he was. Yeah. It was close. It was a close call, but
he definitely saves him. So, but as they get together, like, okay, everything's cool. They're like, yeah, let's not say your mom though. She'll freak out. And the kid's like, oh yeah, I already know. She'll freak. She'll feather you. So.
Well, still though, like you got to learn how to do it, and the only way is to actually do it. Maybe not take that highest branch.
Maybe get on the lower branches. But the mom gets home, and she's got a surprise for Astro. She's got a different way to carry him around. He's not very thrilled, though.
Well, because it's like a stork bringing a baby in.
It does look exactly like that. But she's like, hey, I got to get you to school somehow. So this is how we're doing it.
Yeah,
and he's worried.
It's got like a little A on it.
For Astro. It's
well, I realize that, but this is not going to help him. He's being delivered to school.
I know, and he's obviously worried about this. He's like, Mom, they're so going to make fun of me. Like, this is going to be the worst thing. And she's like, no, I've already talked to the teacher. It's going to be fine. And a few days later, he gets in his little stork entrapment and gets to go to school.
Yeah, see, this is the same thing that happened when my mom forced me to wear a cape to school. I told her I was going to get picked on. I think she knew, though. That's why she made me wear it. Anyway, what were you doing?
Oh, my goodness. Anyways, so poor little Astro, he's going to school, and he's flying there, and he thinks that's just incredible. He just thinks it's so beautiful being able to see it from that perspective.
I guess this might be the first time that he's ever experienced flying.
That's what I'm thinking. Because, yeah, he's like mesmerized. He's like, this is awesome. But he gets to school, and it's so cute. It's got an owl teacher, and he's got some other little bird friends.
I want to point out how awesome this owl looks, though.
Oh, he's impressive.
He looks very wise.
Well, that's why he's a teacher. You got to have the owl.
I kind of, when they said they had a school, I was like, okay, they're going to have an owl teacher. I just kind of knew that. But man, this owl actually looks really wise. Like I gotta say, I like him.
He can teach me a few things, I think.
Yeah, I like him.
But yeah, he's got some other little bird friends. Well, hopefully we'll be friends. Other little bird classmates that are there.
Little bird jerks.
Yeah, and we do find out they're not the nicest. They're calling him weird, and they're making fun of him. And the owl teacher's like, look, you guys gotta be nice. Like, that's not the lesson for today, but that should be the lesson. But it ends up they're going to, I think it was scavenge for food, right? Mm-hmm. That was going to be their little lesson of the day, which I'm like, oh, how practical is that? But I loved it, though, because the next scene, wow.
Yeah, so this was like a comic within a comic. Though.
Yeah. When I turned, I was like, whoa, what is going on? We have literally like a battle scene of worms. And it's like underground.
They got tanks and missiles. And
they got little helmets on.
They're like, there's a war going on. In fact, it's like called the War for the Underground or something.
Yeah, War for the Underearth.
War for the Underearth.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And actually, it is really well done.
But yeah, it's like a 2-pager. It's great. But yeah, then you realize at the very bottom that that's actually how he's getting them. That's the war he's talking about.
Yeah, the owl is actually pecking through the top.
And yeah, gets the worm. He's like, yeah, that's how it's done. Like, oh, this is the circle of life for you. But luckily, Astro is like, this looks great. I want to try this immediately. And the kids are making fun of him for even wanting to try. I'm like, oh, these kids are so mean.
Well, first, the kids were kind of grossed out by it. But then I'm like, well, but you're okay with your mommy. Like, doing that, eating it, and then spitting in your mouth, though? Like,
that's true.
For some reason.
Like, that's not gross?
Because we know how you do it. Okay, anyway. I watched Discovery.
Oh, my goodness. But yeah, so they're making fun of him, and he's like, oh, man, I just so I wanted to try something. Well, then the next page it pans over to in the city. So I'm assuming in New York City.
Yes. And, you know, I want to point out, too, that they did a really good job of making it really look like two different worlds.
It does, because you've got such a colorful, like, park. It's so pretty. Everything just looks so nice. You want to live there. And then, yeah, it goes over to the city, and it's, like, dark and kind of grimy looking. And you got the crows there, and they're obviously getting some kind of little meeting together, and they're looking kind of rough already. But they're just kind of fighting amongst each other, and one starts hitting the other because he's obviously the dominant kind of crow, right?
He's missing an eye, too. He's got one white eye.
Oh, I didn't notice that, yeah.
That's how you know. Yeah. He's like a James Bond villain of crows.
But apparently they want to take over the park, and they have a new plan to do so. And then that's when we get to see this horrible-looking beast, which we realize later is a raccoon. And
Well,
scary.
I want to point out, though, that they say that it's because the crows attack from the air, and that's where the cardinals are basically looking for them.
Yeah.
Right? But these crows are enormous, though. You guys can't just take these little guys. I mean, I guess actually Astro's dad is pretty buff, but
still, it's like
there was a lot of these crow
two
guys.
against, yeah, like how many? That's crazy. But yeah, so
But
they're thinking
anyway,
they're going to, go in from below, and that's how they're going to get it from the ground.
Right.
That's how they're going to get it. So that's where the raccoon comes in, and supposedly his red-eyed demon self is going to help them being able to attack the cardinals. But I guess he's on some kind of mind control.
Yeah, so he must have found this stuff, like maybe a lab disposed of it, or maybe like had a window open.
He snuck in something, but he's got some kind of mind control formula that he gives to the raccoon, and that's how he's able to tell him, I guess, what to do.
You think that's why his eyes are like that?
I'm hoping, because if not, that's a scary raccoon right there.
Well, I mean, we've seen a few.
But yeah, so they this is their elaborate plan that they're going to do this. Well, a little bit later on, we flip the page and we go back to the tree house, or excuse me, the birdhouse. And poor Astro, he's having a rough time. He's just looking at himself and looking at, what seems like little posters on his wall. And
yeah, like heroes. I was trying to identify some of these guys. I think one of them is like a bird Rambo.
That's what I was thinking, the bald eagle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's, like looking at them and looking at himself, and he just starts crying, and his mom comes in to try to console him a little bit. She starts telling him the name, the reason why he's named Astro. Because I guess the night he was born, there was a star that was brighter and, was different from the rest, and she knew he was going to be special and all this. And I was like, oh, that's so cute.
See, my mom always said, hey, you need to, pick a poster that you could actually get to. So, she bought me a Mick Foley. So, because I was always looking at Sting, and I was like, never achieved that. Mick Foley, I was already halfway there.
Your mom did not do that. You were so...
You're right, it was Abdullah the Butcher.
Would you... Anyways, back to the story. But yeah, so the mom's trying to console him, and, doing the mom thing, and everything's going well, when all of the sudden, you start hearing a growling. You see those god-awful red eyes.
I love this part of the book.
This is not my favorite part. So unfortunately, the raccoon finds the birdhouse and attacks it, and ends up attacking poor Astro's parents.
Well, his dad was kind of awesome, though. Like, he rushed in.
I mean, he bum rushed him.
Yeah, and like elbowed the raccoon's face, and then gave them an opportunity to get out. Unfortunately, the mom also had to throw herself in to give Astro the opportunity to get out.
So yeah, unfortunately, both, I think it was Marta's, her name, and Grace, they are both unfortunately killed.
But Astro was able to use his well, I don't know what she called it.
The little cape thing.
Yeah, but as a parachute.
So luckily, yeah, he fell from the tree, and I'm like, okay, gosh, all three of them are going to end. But yeah, luckily he was able to grab the cape and use it as a parachute and kind of float down to the bottom. So at least he was saved at that point, while, yeah, his poor parents were not saved. But he made it to the bottom. Unfortunately, at this point, we see the crows are rushing in to claim their new home. And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, this is so sad. Also bad for Astro.
So, who do you think got like their house? You think it was the main crow?
Oh, it had to be. Because I feel like that's a pretty big house right there. I mean, that was
But
like
they're also
two-story.
like so much bigger though than.
This is true.
So that's what I was always kind of wondering too. Like, okay, when they get in there, then they're like, oh man, it's like Gandalf inside a Hobbit house. He's like, oh man, I didn't think this through.
Maybe they didn't think it through. They just wanted the land.
Yeah. Oh, I guess they do have the tree.
That's
And,
true.
you know, the part, I guess the tree.
They've been used to dumpsters, so they think a tree is like, that's high.
That's true, they do. They have a tree down a
society.
dumpster now.
But yeah, then it pans over and we go to 2 years later and you see this awesome page of Astro grown up. He's got his cape on now. It's like
This is an awesome page.
this like cool, like hooded, cape kind of dark night kind of guy. And apparently he's trying to beat some information out of some crows.
His legs are fully developed at this
They
point.
sure are. He's ready to go at this point. He still doesn't have wings, but that is not stopping him. Because yeah, he's like literally kicking butt with those legs.
Yeah, he's trying to get information. Actually, first off, you see around him there's like crows that are already knocked unconscious and or deceased.
Yes.
And then he's beating the information out of a crow,
This is true.
trying to find out where the exact ones that killed his parents are.
Yeah, he's looking for vengeance. And I'm like, you know what? I'm about it. Because that was ridiculous how your parents died.
But how's he going to get that raccoon though?
Well, I guess we're going to find out. Because unfortunately, the next page, to be continued.
Yeah, but this was a good shot though.
It was, again, another awesome, like, just full front page. Like, it was great. He's got, like, the look. We'll put it up here for Trevor here.
This actually could have been a cover as well.
It really could.
It's so awesome.
But yeah, so that was the end, though. So we don't know what happens if he ever finds justice. We'll have to find out next.
I'm hoping that we'll see Bent Box at one of the up and coming
That would be
cons
awesome.
that we're going to hit.
Yeah.
So a couple things that I want to start off with, like the first off, this is some of the best lettering I've seen too. Like it was really good.
Honestly, everything about it. I loved all the art, the lettering, just the style, the story itself. I just thought it was all really cool and how it was all done together, so coherent. Or not coherent. You know what I'm trying to say.
Well, the story for sure was amazing. I actually really was, by like the third or fourth page, I was already getting into it.
Oh, and literally when the parents died, I was
well, that's the thing. It's like,
point.
you have to follow the formula. Like in order to become the hero, he has to have, he has to build up has to have that tragedy. He has to be able to build himself up to fight.
It's just so sad.
We don't want no Rays here. We want Astros.
Rays.
Yeah, Ray Skywalker.
Oh, goodness. Anyways, that's a whole other story. But, yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. Like I said in the beginning, it was very Disney-like, so that just brought back all kind of nostalgia for me. I just thought it was, just with the characters, they have their own world, which I thought was amazing. I just always love to think of it that way.
Some of the old school Disney was a little dark, too.
Oh, it definitely was. Especially, I mean, they got to read the darker stories and kind of try to put a nice little spin on it, but they're definitely darker back in the the olden days of Disney.
I enjoy a good dark story though.
I know you do.
Because it's just it's a good refreshing. So yeah, the mind control formula, that was an interesting.
I was not expecting that. Yeah, I was like, wait, mind control. I'm like, yeah, we would make anything up. I can imagine they'd steal it from a human.
You know what? It's probably started as a weight loss drug, and then they realized, oh wow,
This controls your mind.
Yeah.
I can so see that.
Because look at Sharon Osbourne. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay.
Anyways.
So also, the main character Astro was a really good fit for this.
Loved him. You were rooting for him.
Definitely. Yeah.
Literally the first scene, you're just like, he's so cute. And then
well, because he was born with like a huge handicap.
For a bird, no less. Like no wings. Like that's a bird right there.
It
to have
is.
wings. So yeah, the fact that he was born without that, but he still was able to just kind of, muster on. I love that. I thought that was so cool.
Could you imagine like the figure 4 leg lock this guy could get put on somebody now though?
He's got some strong legs. But I also loved the worm scene. That was
Oh man!
I just thought that was so clever. Again, another world within a world. Like they're in the battle, they're in the trenches, just looking for their lives, and this guy's just teaching a class.
It actually took me a second though when I flipped the page. I was like, wait a second, what just happened here? But then I was like, oh wow, this is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And again, I just saw all the little tanks, and they're all wearing helmets and stuff. I thought that was so funny.
What do you think they're shooting out of those tanks though?
Rocks.
Oh, okay.
So I'm surprised. I'm assuming they have a bunch of them.
I'm gonna also have to say that the story could have been. I lost my train of thought there. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Well, I again just love the story in general. I just really love that the main character, like you said, was different. I thought.
The story was fast paced.
Oh, it definitely was.
Yeah. Like as I was reading it, I realized I was already like halfway through the book.
Oh, when I turned that last page and said to be continued, I was like, I am not ready for the end of this. Like, are you kidding? It went so quick, but you got so much in it. Like
there's definitely
and there's some feel good moments, and then there's some sad. I mean, there's a lot in that little comic, but it was a really fun read. I really liked it.
And the illustration again was pretty amazing.
That's what originally drew me to it. I was definitely hooked by the cover. Bought that because I just thought that cover was amazing and how it looked, and I just couldn't wait to read it.
And that's another thing too that I really like about Bent Box Comics is they do have a wide variety of illustrators.
Yes, and honestly, something for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's really cool with their designs.
Yeah, very wide variety of illustrators, and guys, Mammoth Syndicate members, that I do have a wide variety of artists that I love. So I don't have any just one particular style. I like very wide. Because sometimes you need a certain style to tell a certain story.
I agree, yeah. And like this is, if we would have seen some of our other people that we've reviewed in the past doing something like this, I think it wouldn't have translated as good. Because, like I said, just the different kind of animation that they do with it, I think it's really cool how it's so cartoon-like. And
it needed to be like that.
Yeah. But it was amazing. I really liked it, and I think you will too.
I'll definitely put all of Bitbox Comics info down below, so make sure you hit them up and tell them Joshua Mammoth sent you. They're also going to be at some cons too, so look them up. I think they're like a South Florida down there.
Yeah.
So check them out if you're down there, because actually a lot of the cons on there are pretty awesome.
Oh, they really are. We're going to definitely be hitting up a lot more.
All right, that's all we got for you this time, Syndicate members. Do you have anything else?
No, just make sure you check it out. It was definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, one last thing. We want to put a shout out to Paulo out there. We want to wish you quick healing, my friend.
Yes, for sure. We miss you, Paulo.
We miss you a lot, and hope you heal up, and we'll see you soon.
For sure.
All right, Syndicate members, between the known and the unknown lies the myth. I'll see you next time.